August 24, 1983. Nikolai Mikhailovich's vacation is coming to an end. Today he needs to go out of the taiga to geologists. At about 2 o'clock in the afternoon we went to Cairo with him and Nikolai Petrovich. The latter kindly agreed to come with me, for company. Lev Stepanovich asked him about this. The journey took 2 hours and 50 minutes. The trail goes along the Abakan canyon. Several times you have to wade across the river. In some places on the stony places, kurumniks, and spits, the trail is lost, but it is difficult to get lost. You cannot go aside, there is only one way, down the river. The mountains are composed of tuffs and porphyrites, shales and sandstones. In some places, there are traces of marals, either a hoof print on the ground, or eaten and broken branches. Traces of the owner of the taiga, the bear, are also visible on the sandy spits. The water in Abakan is very beautiful, transparent with a slightly dull shade, slightly greenish in shallow places, and almost malachite in deep pits. All around beauty. At the end of the way, the sky was covered with clouds, thunder rumbled, rain poured, a thunderstorm broke out. We got wet, but the geologists' settlement is already closed. In the evening, the geologists have a bath. We break fresh birch and fir brooms, and into the steam room. Tomorrow Budima will stay here to fly away with the first passing plane or helicopter, and Nikolai Petrovich and I will go back to the Lykovs. And today after the bath, we sleep in clean beds on armor nets. Bliss. 25th of August. After breakfast, Nikolai Petrovich and I, grabbing 5 loaves of bread, 3 cans of stew, 1 kg of sugar and 3 kurumniks, the Lykovs have enough work, and our hands are tender, set off on the way back. Again we walk along the sandy and stony spits, we jump over stones and barrows, wade through Abakan. The trail is sometimes lost. 3 years ago it was not at all. We find it, we go forward. We are linked to the likes of geologists named Cairo, which we are very happy about. With a dog in the taiga, of course, it is calmer. 3 hours later we are again at the Lykovs. We are repairing the storage shed all day, or rather we attach another compartment to the existing one. Agafia, as a real foreman master, leads us. Her practical grasp is amazing. She knows everything and knows how to mark, and how to build, how to saw and how to hammer in a nail, and everything else. Requires only high quality work, of course, softly and in a polite manner. If only she would be her supervisor at some plant or her chief medical officer at a hospital, and our students would have at least a little bit of her practical acumen and skills. The eternal problem is how to teach students practical skills. And here life itself, the struggle for existence forced Agafia, like the rest of the Lykovs, to master everything necessary in practice. Agafia clearly reacts to any joke and immediately responds with a smile or laughs boldly, covering his mouth with a handkerchief. For example, we are building a storage shed. I say to Agafia, let's write an ad for the bear with a red or blue felt tip pen, don't get in, he'll kill. He laughs excitedly, realizing the absurdity of this proposal. Then he replies, duck is not literate. Then again he laughs boldly. Lykova the younger is very responsive. Seeing that I was upset, having lost the cross, given to me 3 years ago by Natalia, she went to the hut and returned with a new cross. Immediately I made a gaitan rope from hemp thread for a cross and put it on my neck. And in addition, I gave a spare ball of hemp thread so that you could make a gaitan when the old one was erased. The inscription on the cross reads, the King of Glory Jesus. Christ is the Son of God. May God rise again and strive to foil him and flee from his presence. While working on the storage shed, Agafia somehow got close to us and even let us examine her sore hand. When examining the tendons of the radial flexor of the bone and the brachial muscle, swelling is noted. Here, when the muscles move, crepitation, crunch appears. Diagnosed with cryptic tendovaginitis, inflammation of the tendon sheets. A tight immobilizing bandage was applied. Agafia agreed to her after she soaked the bandage in the stream and dried it. This gave her some relief. Probably this fact, as well as our practical help to the Lykovs, sawing wood, building a storage shed, etc., aroused Agafia's confidence in us, in the non-Christian doctor, and in the evening we persuaded Agafia to treat his hand. Incredible, but true. We melted wax on the fire in a tin can and made stearic applications on the hand. Agafia was very afraid, but still she let me put on a bandage. But at first we had to convince her for a long time that the candles melted in a tin can and freed over the fire are clean, even better than washed in a stream. Along the way, I counted Agafia's pulse. At first it was 84 beats per minute, she was probably worried, and then it became less frequent, minus 70 beats. Smooth, good feeling, not tense. Throughout the night, the taiga is disturbingly noisy. A strong wind blows along the Abakan canyon. Aspen trees rustle as if it is raining. It was rather cold at night. After Nikolai Mikhailovich left, Lev Stepanovich and I each have a personal tent. The dog, Cairo, nestled at my feet at the tent. August 26th. The morning is pretty cold. Already obvious signs of autumn, a lot of red and yellow on the ground, in some places aspens and birches turn yellow. Every day the lingonberry is getting redder. In the morning I ate it with pleasure, since there is no need to go anywhere, it is under my feet. There are almost no mosquitoes, but there are many midges. After breakfast we build the storage again. We bring down the forest sawing, carrying on our backs, weaving and adjusting the logs. In a word, we master the related specialties of a lumberjack, carpenter, loader and others. For the second day, grandfather is engaged in our opinion, unnecessary work. He uproots stumps, removes stones near the hut. He practically does not interfere in our work. Agafia is looking after us. The storage is full of stocks of dry potatoes, crackers and bread, pine nuts. The available reserves, in my opinion, will last for several years. There is quite a lot of disorder and inexpediency in the Lykov's household. Disorder is often noticeable. What is obtained with such difficulty rots and disappears. Karpasipovich is stubborn in his decisions, even when it is clearly inappropriate. Agafia, however, accepts sensible proposals as it should and even argues with want. Agafia says, when they were making a storage shed by the stream, tidy cut one board, and even that slanting one barely fitted it. Elvira Viktorovna and Lev Stepanovich asked permission from Karpasipovich to paint his portrait with paints. He politely, purely diplomatically, refused. My health is bad. Here today and there tomorrow. Today Agafia told us for a long time why it is impossible to take pictures and when the world will end. According to her, 9 years will still be come, and then it is not known what will happen. There will be no 8000th year at all. Now, according to their chronology, it is 7491. All day they were finishing building the storage shed. In the morning Agafia did not even come up to us. Probably she was praying, doing her business, having lunch. They eat lunch for the first time. It can be at 11 or 15 o'clock. After lunch, Agafia came to see our work and was satisfied. Good. It got colder in the evening. When we finished covering the roof of the storage shed, hail began. I had to hide from his blows under the roof. A little later it became so cold that steam came out of my mouth. Here there, sign. The construction of the lobas was completed by evening. I noticed that the Lykovs do not have a firm daily routine. It changes depending on specific conditions, holidays or weekdays, the need for some work, and so on. The Lykovs get up at about 7 a.m. They begin the necessary housework. They light the stove, cook food. At the same time, in passing and with breaks, they read the morning prayer, thanks to God. Dinner begins to be prepared no earlier than 7 p.m., often much later. Then they read the evening prayer and have dinner, from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Thus, they only eat twice a day. They go to bed late, not earlier than 12 a.m., and sometimes at 2. It turns out that they sleep a little, 5-7 hours. The Lykov's diet has become more varied. Potatoes boiled in uniforms are widely used. They are dipped in salt when eating. Potatoes are put into the soup, still not peeled, but only washed. Cereals, oatmeal, rice, buckwheat, mushrooms, rasula, sieve. Boiled oatmeal porridge, buckwheat. The bread is fermented the day before from rye or wheat flour and crushed dry potatoes in a ratio of 1:6. It turns out a dark, sour, rye-like bread. They have no fish and meat lately. They also eat turnips, radishes, peas, onions and green onions. Food is always salted. They eat quite a lot at a time, their fill. Recently, decoctions of lingonberry, currant, fir, rose hips have often been used. For the dessert, they click a pine nut, 5-6 cones, or drink its juice. Mushrooms are harvested, salted and dried. They collect berries, red and black currants, lingonberries, rose hips, blueberries and honeysuckle. Lingonberries are preserved in their natural form, the rest of the berries are dried. On Sundays and holidays the Lykovs do not work, they rest and pray more than usual. Such respites, of course, are advisable for their large and hard work on weekdays. The Lykovs take a lot of time to pray. However, it must be admitted that for the Lykovs they are a kind of auto-training that allows them to maintain mental balance and performance. Today Petrovich, as before, was busy at the hut, cleaning something, picking something out of the ground. He was doing something clearly unnecessary. At the same time, while they are not digging potatoes, he could at least harvest moss for the future extension to the hut. I involuntarily catch myself on the fact that every day my respect for Agafia is increasing and decreasing for Petrovich. Please share this video on your social networks, using the buttons under the video and subscribe to the channel. I ask you to go and watch other videos about Agafia Lykova, which you can see now on the screen in the end screensavers. There are a lot of rare and interesting facts about the Hermit. Thank you all for watching.